All right, now we're ready.
Is it?
We'll have to put this in your green envelope.
Mr. Aaron's.
Yeah, here.
Mr. Aaron's is absent. Mr. Behrens is here.
Here.
Mr. Christensen.
Present.
Mr. Ferricks is absent. Mr. Godbout.
Here.
Melinda Lautner is not here yet. Mr. Noonan.
Here.
Mr. Popa.
Here.
Mr. Robbins.
Here.
Mr. Walter.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Great. Any public comment? Steve?
Steve Sayer, Empire Township. I just spoke to Don Gardner, and he said he wouldn't be here today. He's in Amsterdam. Asked me to say hi to everybody. I was concerned and surprised and pretty shocked to learn some time ago that our parks are available to be sold at the direction of the county commissioners. And I never thought that could possibly happen, and I know the people that I've solicited money from put money into the Poor Farm Barn, never thought that could ever happen. And so what I want to do is encourage you and hope that you will take every effort to find some way to make sure that this can happen in the future, that the parks in this county are protected and will be parks, and we can depend on them forever. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, Steve.
I don't see any other public comment. Any agenda additions or deletions? I don't have any corrections. Anybody else? All right, get a motion to approve as presented?
So moved?
Second. All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Got an agenda. Moving on to the action items, we got approval of the minutes from August 3rd.
I move that we approve the minutes from August 3rd, 2022 regular session meeting.
For support?
Second.
Second by Dave. Any discussion? Any questions? All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Minutes are approved. Moving on to the financials. Now, we didn't approve August either, because,
Right, so if you look at pages 6, 7, 8, 9, and 11, that's all the budgetary status from June 1st through the end of August.
okay.
And then each individual revenue and expense report for June, July, and August file is moved forward to this month for approval.
What was the Northern Michigan tree doctor?
Spraying beech trees and stuff.
Oh, okay. Did somebody have their hand up on
It's like Gavin Cylinders Company.
Oh, yeah. Yep. That's where he power washes them, kind of?
So not power wash, so power spray or whatever.
Okay.
True Green is the, for the soccer field? True Green is soccer field
Soccer field.
and also.
I'm looking at the capital outlay at 130%. Is that because we haven't moved the money around?
Actually, I thought the last report shows that the money was moved.
Oh, okay, I'm not looking far enough ahead.
Not far enough.
Right.
There we go. Hadn't made it that far yet. Are there any other questions for Scott?
That mulch looks great.
Looks real nice. Turned out good.
Girl shack looks great too.
Go on.
Nice smooth area.
I'm glad that worked out. It would have been done that day if you would have called me. Would have been asking for forgiveness, but still didn't have to wait too much longer. Okay, is there any other questions for Scott? If not, can we get a motion to put the financials on file?
Move to approve.
Second.
Second by John. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Financials are approved.
Thank you.
Page 18 and 19 show the progress of construction.
It didn't take long once it got underway. Okay, moving on for the Miles Kimberly Park Committee Grub Shack removal update.
Laurel, I don't see the photos of the mulch.
That follows. You've got your Miles Kimberly stuff, and then when it gets to the settlers, that's on page 26 and 7. I've got
Oh, okay. Page 27 is a repeat of the Miles Kimberly photos.
Oh. Yeah,
26.
ignore that.
Okay, ignore 27 for that.
It's just 26. So page 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. All I did was we had a glitch in meeting today for Miles. We couldn't meet the quorum, so I just pulled up what had last been discussed formally by the committee. So you've got a picture of the map with the property that's in question, and then some of the comments and action by that committee.
No, I saw it. Page 26.
And after, I talked with Greg Julian briefly the other day and asked where they were at on the whole, what their intentions were. And what he's looking is a kind of a final motion from this body saying yay or nay, so that when they start to go through the process and look at other pieces of property, and people don't say, hey, have you talked to the county? And they say, oh yeah, we talked to them, but we don't have a motion from them. They want something concrete to be able to tell people that, yeah, we already went down that avenue, and they want it, they don't want it, whatever.
So the pressure's going to be further up here because as recommended by, I'm in the process of preparing the packet for the board meeting next week. And one of the agenda items is the Parks and Recreation Commission recommendation on this. So we'll move out of your hands to the board and they'll discuss.
Okay.
You have that on the agenda for 2 weeks?
It's on the 13th. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Next Tuesday.
So if we could get a motion out of this body to forward on as a motion as a recommendation to forward on to the Board of Commissioners is what we're looking for.
Looking at your notes from I wasn't here, it said you were gonna talk with Greg, and you did.
Yes.
I see. And the summary of that discussion is that he's still interested in that?
They would be interested if we were interested, yes.
I see.
But I don't think it's the feeling of the general board here that we want to sell parkland. And I know that's the feeling of the Miles Kimberly Committee, even though they have not passed this on to us. That was their intentions, was to meet for this meeting, but Don couldn't make it.
See, I thought we ended that when we had that discussion with the horse people. In that meeting there, that we decided,
We never voted.
oh, we did?
No, and we were we wanted to look at the deed and make sure things were all squared away. So we've gone through the whole process. Now we're here looking for a motion.
What did we find in the deed?
The board could really do what they want.
They could do what they wanted? Okay.
And ultimately, the final decision is by the Board of Commissioners. So if we recommend that, hey, we do not want to sell the park land, hopefully they,
The minutes should say that we looked at the deed, and it's clear that the board can still do what we want. We listened to the public, and blah, blah, blah. And you talked to them and said, we want a yes or no, up or down,
right.
because it kind of bounced around the last couple of months. I didn't know we got the deed thing unless that was discussed last August when I wasn't here.
We discussed
It
it.
was prior to that, it was probably June.
You had already had the answer about the deed in
Yeah.
June?
Mhm.
It's in the minutes.
So what kind of motion do you want?
Yeah, is somebody
So many
prepared
words.
to make a concrete motion that we can?
We could work on it right here.
What's that?
You want to start?
No, because I'm for it.
Okay. Well, I mean, it can be the motion can be written either way.
And if it fails, then you would make another motion.
Do
Do we
we need
make a
a,
concrete motion or just a motion to kick it up to the board and let us?
We have to tell them what we want.
We have to make a affirmative statement one way or another, what our recommendation is, yes or no.
do we need statements which are findings of fact before we actually have a motion?
We'd have to say something like, the Leelanau County Parks and Recreation Commission reviewed the request by,
County
Cleveland,
supervisors,
yeah.
county supervisors of Cleveland and Casson counties.
we reviewed the request by Cleveland and Casson Township Fire Department to sell part of Miles Kimberly Park. Where was I going with this? And we do not recommend it.
Yes.
Well, keep in mind that you have two different parties interested in the same parcel. So you may not even have to be so specific and say, we
Just don't want to sell.
don't want to sell the property. And you want to retain the park property as park property. You do it as
Well,
simple as that.
There might be something else come by, they might want to put a rocket launch there too. I would say that we just don't want to do it for this instance. That's my motion.
I mean, I think a finding of fact was reviewing prior park master plans. It was stated that the Miles Kimberly Park would be a combined passive and active recreational uses, and that it would be park property in perpetuity. Those would be two findings of fact, the purpose of the park and that it was intended to be for perpetuity. Although we have determined that a current board can override that decision. And that it is currently this board's recommendation to the county board that we not pursue the sales of any Miles Kimberly Park property.
And that's been in our discussions. The motion shouldn't contain all that.
Well, what if
Well-
we just said something simply, I move to recommend that the Parks and Recreation Commission recommends to the County Board of Commissioners to affirm county resolution, blah, 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 retaining, because I can give you the language of what those motions are, retain the parks property as county property, or something to that effect. And then,
At this time.
if you want to add that.
Or specify it to stay as county park property, not just county property.
Into perpetuity.
Or it's property dedicated solely to parks.
Right. In other words, we're opening up the door for, the county could do something else there.
And what I'll do once this is all finalized is I'll create an agenda item and send it out to everyone probably tomorrow so you can see what's going before the board.
She can read a motion if we're happy with it here.
But I will have backup information. I'll give them
The
both
res-
of the board approved motions.
One of those sheets,
map, you know, and maybe some links to the minutes so they can see what's been discussed. I know Melinda's sole concern was it shouldn't be a negative motion. So if you're affirming that it remains part of the document,
It's not
it's
negative.
positive.
Yeah. Rick, you want to make the motion?
Okay, let me get my,
I did.
You got it?
I started it. Did you read what I started?
I didn't type it out. I was engaged.
I need a motion that the Leelanau
Could
County,
you, Jim, sorry, can you speak right into that mic?
I can't hear you. I made a motion that the Leelanau County Parks and Recreation Committee recommends to the county commissioners that they maintain Miles Kimmerly Park
Yes.
as parkland per, you're gonna look up the,
Resolutions.
per that what?
There's a couple resolutions talking about,
Resolutions,
Per county resolution,
there's blank and blank, there's two different.
okay,
Yeah.
county resolutions, blank and blank, period.
Okay.
is there support for that motion?
Can we hear it again?
I move to recommend that I move that the county, I move that the Parks and Recreation Commission recommends to the County Board of Commissioners that they maintain Miles Kimberly Park as parkland per county resolutions blank and blank.
Did you want to add into perpetuity?
Well, one is a resolution for parks. Yeah. I will
And he-
make sure you have all that language.
You were talking about that as the finding of facts to back up
Finding
our,
facts to back it up.
yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm too legal, I think.
Go ahead.
So the resolution is to not to sell anything, is that correct?
It just says it's dedicated parkland,
Okay.
yes.
Maintain.
But do we,
I don't, yeah, it needs a version of that, right, okay, I just want to make sure.
do we want to include the other two parks too, or just, that way we're covered, we got a blanket for all three
Yeah.
parks?
Continue.
Then we're not back here again on
That's fine with me.
a, and then that way we can discuss it at the big board.
Oh,
So Miles Kimberly Park, Veronica Valley Park, and Old Settlers Park is parkland per county resolution.
I mean, that's fine with me because the resolutions are targeted towards all of the parks. So it makes sense to have all of them in there.
Yeah, good move.
One might be specifically to Miles because it addresses 4-H land, but I'll make sure that you have that in your packet.
Okay.
That was right, that was, the binder is handy. Use it.
Oh, because the resolutions are in there.
July tab, which was for the June 16th.
We didn't have a July meeting, right?
Right.
That was canceled. So resolution 2015 Parks Perpetuity and resolution number 9515 addressed MSU.
I don't know. I thought we were just looking at this one from the fire.
Well, that's what started it.
Yeah. but-
What is the MSU?
Glen Lake Schools also.
I'm
That's
still in favor of the fire department.
MSU used that land across the road from Miles Kimberly through,
At
I
this
think
time.
it's 2025.
Is there any other discussion or questions on the motion? Is there support? I didn't think we got support. John supports it.
That's MSU. This is perpetuity. Right. And then this is.
Yeah, it was in the June
I
tab,
got it, thank you.
page 14, 13 and 14.
That's perpetuity.
But I think,
See, I would like to see.
oh, that's right, it was before. But it's good to include, in that case, it's good to include Veronica. That way they know the intent is you want all the parkland to be preserved as park.
Parkland.
Here's the resolutions if you guys want to look at.
Was there support?
So
Yep,
pre-
we-
so
I was just waiting for her to finish up here.
maybe preserve and maintain, does that make a little more sense?
They will be preserved and maintained as
Parkland.
parkland.
Is that okay with the motion maker and the support?
Yes.
Go ahead, Dave.
Another point of discussion. John Poker, may I hear why you favor?
Is it open to discussion now?
Yeah, we've got a motion and a
We have a
second.
motion on the table, so now is discussion.
I'm gonna vote no, because I think we should look at this opportunity to help the citizens in this county on this piece of land that we don't use for anything, for fire department.
And we do have a plan that we're working on. You know, I had emailed everybody earlier this morning, a request from Don, the couple that was interested in the dog park.
Oh,
I
yes.
was gonna email everybody.
Okay.
They're still interested. I thought he said they were gonna show up today. I think they're still interested in.
A dog park.
Yeah, assisting with funding for a dog park.
I'm against the dog park.
Okay. We'll cross that bridge when it comes. But with motion, support, is there any other discussion on the motion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
Aye.
So, 6-1.
6-1. Motion passes. Okay, moving on to Old Settlers Park Committee. Melinda's not here. We don't have much to talk about. We had the Old Settlers picnic. It poured all day. But we had a decent turnout. I think we served 160 meals-ish, which all things considered wasn't too bad for the day. Most of it was all the regulars that are always there. It's a dwindling thing. Would be nice to get it revived, but it was still a pretty decent turnout, and things went well. And all in all, it was a pretty good day. Park looked nice.
Thank you for what you do, though.
I don't do much. The kids played on the play structure until it rained. That was a big hit. Actually, because we got there, we usually get there about 8:30, and there were kids on that play structure until it started pouring. And it wasn't just from our family. It was families coming. There was a couple of different families that rode their buggies down there and let the kids play. And I think that's been a big hit. So,
Did the chapel get washed? Did the chapel get washed, the exterior? Not yet? Is it on the schedule for this year, or do we need to do something to get it on the schedule for this year?
he's gonna do it himself.
Oh, okay.
You don't want to keep getting all these other projects, so it's not on fire, so
One thing
one guy.
Yeah.
One thing I've noticed also is the gazebo needs some attention. Maybe next year if we can try and maybe,
This should be good out.
yeah, it needs to be power washed and stripped and repainted and all that. So, kind of maybe think about that for next year as a smaller project. Yeah, it'd be nice to get that done on the bottom. See what we can get done. It needs a makeover.
Is there a dollar amount that trips you from a just maintenance project to a capital requirement project? Is it 5,000, 2,000?
Right?
No, it's either 4 or 5, because you can get approval by the department or the department head for anything 2 or less.
2 or less?
Yes. I think it's 4 is the threshold, and it's got to be.
That's what I was asking, if it's capital, what makes it capital versus maintenance? And I can't answer that. Every time I ask, the answer changes.
The corporation I worked for, we had a $5,000. If it was more than 5, it had to be going looking at the capital side as opposed to the maintenance side.
And isn't that correct? Because
No, the 5,000's on bids
Okay, that's right, all right, yep.
We,
Versus-
as the mayor,
versus quote.
not myself, but my boss, Jerry, can approve up to 2,000. Under 5,000, Chuck can approve. After 5,000, best of
Oh,
Okay, that's right,
Right.
yep, that makes sense now. Yep.
Right. Chet, I was directed to go and get,
Unless county board. case.
And if it's an emergency situation, he has the ability to.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out, I mean, if we get an estimate for the gazebo and it comes over 5, then we gotta do something, right?
Now, regardless of any dollar value involved, if there's a contract with an outside contractor, vendor, that has to go to, at any dollar level, has to go to the county
Yes,
commission.
the
doesn't it?
board is the only one that can approve contracts.
Contracts.
so I was directed to go and find 3 quotes to see if there were 3 possible quotes under 5,000 for a company that'd be willing to look at doing a redo of the plan for Miles. So I talked to Chet, and he said if they're all under 5,000, then he has the ability to let us choose one and then take that through. So I did that, and I was able to get 2 verbals and 1 written that were less than 5,000.
That's
And that's what he had suggested on that grub shack, was the same thing, but then I twisted Zach's arm a little bit. Things got a little lower.
Steve, you said this is to redo the master plan at Miles,
Yes,
and you've actually got some figures on,
yeah, I had 2 verbal quotes and 1 written quote, not bid, quote. They were all less than 5.
and the committee hasn't looked at those yet.
We haven't met.
Gotcha.
Are there any other questions under Old Settlers? Did Melinda talk to you about the bench or playground equipment for,
She mentioned somebody wanted to buy a bench or something.
yeah, okay, I gotta get on her about that. I wanna make sure that that gets done. Because I talked to her daughter at Old Settlers, and they would probably contribute a little bit more if we could get a small piece of playground equipment. Whether it's one of those little spring bunny hopper things or whatever, something small. I mean, not, yeah, okay, I need to make sure, I want to make sure that gets on. Worst case scenario, we could get a bench, and when I walked down, I took the kids down by the water, there's an older bench there that's kind of falling apart. Yeah, if we could get rid of that and put a nice one down there with a plaque, I think that would be nice, whatever. But I just need to keep it in my mind.
Are we doing the same bench for each park, or are we kind of choosing?
No, because Old Settlers has their own identity.
So it'd be a different style? Okay.
They're more of a ornate looking antique type bench.
Victoria.
Yeah, whatever, yeah.
Of
More
course.
iron than wood.
Well, then they said, well, we'd like that one that's for Connie Binsfeld, and I'm like, no, that's in a whole other ballpark. Okay, moving on to Veronica Valley, we've got the Leelanau St. Mary cross-country event.
I didn't see anything new.
No, all we did was some date changes, and they approved that, so they'll send you the insurance. And this is approved, if the board approves it, I will have Chet sign off on it, and it's in the process.
So we can just do it, or does it have to go county board?
No, we can just do it. Chet signed off on it the last few times.
So in essence, it's the same.
Yeah.
So I move that we accept the proposal from Lake Leelanau St. Mary's School to hold the cross-country event as it's been held before, pending completion of all of our requirements for insurance, et cetera,
At Veronica.
at Veronica Valley Park.
Is there support? Supported by John. Any other discussion, questions?
What's there a date on that? Now I'm not saying.
October 15th.
15th.
I think this is good, and I think we should approve it. They have to know that anytime in October, Pops can be in there and pouring concrete and
Now,
paving in
Jeff-
there, and if they come, they're gonna have to maybe go around and come the back way along the side of the property by the fence or something.
John and I placed location stakes for the signage that we have at Veronica this morning. The young man from Pops, who I think presented to us, was there with a road commission tech. They were doing measurements. The Pops gentleman said they'd be starting next week.
Yeah, they've already missed it.
Oh, excuse me.
They're looking like,
He said they were gonna start first of next week,
Good.
so that could be in and out by the
they
time.
told me September, back in May or whatever.
Oh, okay. That's the only comment I had. It doesn't look like a little fear then.
Good. Anything else? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
And that'll be, your office will communicate with them. Good. Thank you.
Dave, you have anything else under Veronica?
Just to, Scott's put together this sample of our wayfinding signage, which is the same style, same concept at Miles Kimmerly. I like the size of the post. I was, for some reason, picturing just 4x4, but this is going to be better with your attachment. Scott's only one man. We got potholes in the fishing walkway that I know I'll help fill in when we get to that. When the time comes, we'll have some of us assisting Scott to put these posts in. There are only 6 at Veronica. I think there's 7 at
I can't hear you.
Miles. I'm sorry. So we'll work this fall, if at all possible, with weather and schedule to
Will
get,
be probably in next
oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Monday, it's not raining.
Okay. Well, then we need to talk about how we can help. Good. You haven't put all the posts together with the signs on top, have you?
No, we're gonna put the posts in first and then all the signs
Yeah.
afterwards.
And this post is not necessarily the height that,
That's
oh,
exactly what I,
oh, okay.
yeah, that's,
How did you choose that height?
some standards from the national park.
Okay.
It's kind of UA, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
A person in a wheelchair can read it. Someone
Excellent.
standing,
Excellent, because
If it's higher, it might not
several
be able to.
locations, I was picturing it higher this morning as we decided this is the right place, et cetera. This will be fine.
Child can look at it.
Yeah, that I understand too.
Then they're looking at it.
I've asked for assistance from Brian Price, simply via email, on identifying some of the weeds in the pond. They're not overwhelming, but I sought to find out more about exactly what we've got there. I haven't heard from him, so I don't know. Don't have anything additional on that. We noticed some growth in the back ponds compared to a month ago, maybe.
Did you see that big clump in the east long pond?
Yeah. The white one?
Big white,
Yeah, what is that, Scott?
Those are the, specifically, one set of pictures that I sent to Brian saying, help us out with this. I haven't heard from him.
Brian is busier than heck right
Sure,
now.
absolutely. And I'll just, we'll keep going. The weeds aren't overwhelming us yet, so it's something we'll just keep watching, working on.
You maybe should call down at the district and have Karen or Buzz put you in touch with the invasive species network. I think, we might be able to get
You
an
talk into the
ID.
mic there. Can't hear you.
You call down to the district office and talk to Karen and Buzz and they'll
Well, I know
get you in
invasive-
touch with the invasive species network.
Yeah, I know them. I hadn't thought about them because anytime I've gone to their meetings, we've never talked aquatics. It's always been terrestrial invasives, and I just didn't think of their having
They might be.
expertise. I know how to
And
get
then-
hold of them. I will.
Well, that might be a good thing. And then I don't know how often Heather brings her kids to fish or whatever, but I don't know if she'd be another ID person.
You know, I didn't send her the pictures. I certainly still have them of that big mass. I'll get them off to Heather as
Yeah.
well. Okay.
Heather Hedinger?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Anything else?
Nope, except we're starting the entry next week, apparently. That was really
That's great.
the big news that I stumbled on this morning, so.
Get it done.
No, that's it, Casey.
Any public comment? Steve?
I was reminded by Mr. Christensen's comment about having quotes from people to redo, or is it to update the master plan?
Update it.
Update it? And I remember about 5 or 6 years ago, the master plan was done by a company in Stratford. And I wanted to make sure that that company was one of those people who got quotes from, because they have a history of working on those.
Reed Gosling, Zuback, right? Yeah.
Oh, good, thank you.
No other public comment? Any commissioner comments?
I would like to comment as well.
Yeah.
A couple things. When it came to the deferral of the 2% request on vehicle parks, the letter I received had strongly encouraged us to apply for that. So keep that in mind. November is the month that we will be reviewing those requests at the county board level. The other thing is, I have submitted that revised owner's quote as part of the budget process for the,
That's great.
So that would be.
Do we need
Watson.
fresh paperwork from Bill Watson for November
it
application?
could be just the same thing, but update the dates at the top.
Okay. And he can really get that into you at any time. Excellent.
Laurel, what was the first part you talked, when you said 2%, you're talking about the tribe 2%?
Right, the only one that we've done so far has been the Veronica Valley invasive species removal with the goats. But if there's anything else that you're considering that requires a lot of funding, that is an opportunity to ask for tribe funding.
Yeah, I was thinking of that the other day, why we never, but I guess we did do it for the
Yes.
weeds down there. So that'd be a good move.
And we may not limit it, I'll be talking with Bill, it may not be limited to goats.
Right.
Yeah, but whatever plan he puts together for, I presume a minimum of 2 weeks of his cruise. So I'll make sure I get on him right away about that.
And the way it shakes out the November sessions, kind of after the November meeting, so you have an opportunity in October or November to prove at this level as a recommendation to the county board.
And the date of our October meeting here, first,
I think in October, we have an accelerated schedule, so it's the first and the second Tuesday rather than the second and third Tuesday. So it's going to fall in between those. So even with November, you have a little cushion here. We could meet in November and forward that on the board and have plenty of time.
okay.
And the November meeting's set, right?
Yes.
Any other?
Yeah, just one that I just thought of, I'm not against the cross-country meet, but is there any liability against us if they're running on that trail and they get hurt?
That's why they provide certificates of liability.
They do,
insurance.
okay, all right.
No chairperson comments? Motion to adjourn?
So moved?
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? We are adjourned.
Thank you.
Short and sweet.
Did you get them all into a processor? Do they go for juice?
I want to ask Charlie a question.
Look at everything?
Look at everything.
I gotta ask Charlie a question.
Okay. I think when you talk about a child seeing a sign,
Kind of looked out at you. Well, I can't do that.